Need headphones for the review, duh. So, that was Millie. I'll be talking about that band later. But first, have you ever woken up and just turned to your side and noticed there's a big horn-driven driver right there? You realized, oh snap, did I get some last night? No, that's just you waking up to sibilance. So, sibilance. Have you ever wanted to wake up to sibilance? No? Does anyone like grinding their nails on a freaking chalkboard? No? Nobody likes that sound, right? Well, these are the chalkboard, and the nails are your music. But they're not that bad. So these are the Beyerdynamic T90s. As you can see right here, these are the Chrome Edition ones. Nothing special, except for that sexy gleam in the black covering, felt covering over the cabinet. So these have a funny backstory, at least with me anyway. I was on eBay one fruitful night, I should say. I was on eBay one fruitful night, and I was checking eBay like us audiophiles do. Ooh, Beyerdynamic. Click. What's this? A T90, a Tesla driver for $200? This one was at $260. Came with extra pads. I was interested. I clicked on it and it said, buy it now or best offer, $260. So I put in a best offer that night of $200. I didn't actually think the guy would accept it because it's $260, $200, $60 loss. Well, he did. That morning I woke up and I saw that awful message. Offer accepted. I was like, well, crap. And this is right after, obviously the morning after I watched JadeReviews and other headphone reviews of this headphone. And Zeus was like drinking alcohol. He's like, bam, 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 drinking alcohol. He's like, oh, these things are awful. I can't listen to these things for more than 15 minutes. Well, he's kind of right. These things are awful. Stock. Anyway, that eBay offer got accepted. And I was like, well, why not? So I gave him the money. I was like, here, take the money. Give me my headphone. I'll try these out. If I don't like them, I can resell them at a loss. Big deal. I put in an offer for $200. I don't know if I said that already. $200 got accepted. And they showed up to my house a week later. And here they are. Not a week later, more like 3 or 2. So, initial impressions with these when I got them. Awful. Throw it in the trash. Awful. These things were terrible. Beyerdynamic, they make some good headphones. But awful. These things were terrible. I got these out of the box, put them on, and boy, was it bad. It was terrible. It was like nails on a chalkboard. And you might be thinking, oh boy, I don't want anything to do with that, right? But when I first got these things are terrible. So the first day I started taking these out, the pads out, the foam, the ring around the driver, because I've modded headphones, right? The Bears, I've modded the headphones before. I know what's inside of them. It's a little bit different. I'll be talking about that in a second. A little bit different. So I opened these up, put a bunch of paper in it, like toilet paper, paper towels, rings of paper towels, smaller rings with like donuts with holes in them. And that first day, it was just pure regret. I couldn't stand it. So I put them away and put on my Focal Alexas for the night. I returned the next day, put them on. They sounded kind of like meh, not what I remember them sounding, which was not great, but it was okay. There's a lot of like detail there. So I open them up again, take out some paper to the point where I got to a comfortable level of 2 plies of toilet paper each and a donut-ish thing of paper towel. So it's just a round paper towel the size of the driver with a hole in the middle cut out. And that pretty much did wonders. But you have to get used to the sibilants first. I know it seems impossible to get the sibilants. You turn these up even when they're freaking cured with 2 plies in them. You turn these up and they still hurt unless they're on tubes. They still hurt. These, I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if my ears died. But that second day I put these on, the sibilants, it was gone. Now, don't come to me expecting me to explain how this happened, but the sibilants was gone. I put these on. I was listening to them for hours. And I couldn't explain it. I was like, what just happened? This is like a whole different headphone. Same amp. Tubes don't even make that much of a difference in the first place, but same amp. And it was different. Same music, but different. It didn't hurt my ears. I put these on, turned them up louder and louder, and they hurt my ears. These didn't. I don't know if this is just how I had them tuned with the 2 plies and the donut thing in the rear side of the driver. I don't know if that was it. But I could tolerate these. And I was just listening. Listening for a little bit until... Alright, sorry about that. I got interrupted. Where was I? Talking about the next day. So yeah, the sibilants basically went away. I can't explain it, but I got used to them. So I was joining my friends online group chat, and I could hear one of my friends' mic. I'm like, what the heck? Dude, I can hear everything. He's like, what are you talking about? And I hear him moving his mouse around. I'm like, what? What's going on? These freaking things, dude, they capture so much detail you wouldn't believe. Like, if you can get used to these, you can hear things through people's mics. Granted, they have their input sensitivity at a low enough level to pick up those sorts of things in the first place. But these things can pick up detail like nothing else. And you're looking at that frequency response and it's like, big old middle finger saying, F you, dude. But once you tame these, just like the 880s, and I know it's not going to seem worth it, but once you tame these, you can hear details unlike nothing I've heard, at least. I have the Focal LX, and the 880s, a few other headphones like the T60 Argons, things like that. These things, crazy. I was listening to this song, Millie, called Static, and there's this crescendo where it's like her, the lead singer, harmonizing like 4 or 5 versions or types of her around in the surrounding area, the main in the middle, and then different vocalists, same vocalists, but they're placed around, harmonizing with themselves. And there's an orchestra in the background. I was listening to this song on these, and it's just they're separated. You can tell where they're moving, the vocalists where they're moving, and the orchestra is just in the background. Imaging and soundstage, it's kind of like that. It's just they separated the instruments from the vocalist. And I wanted to see if I can hear the same thing with the 880s. Same Beyerdynamic, just not the Tesla driver. Just the normal driver. And I couldn't. It kind of just fused together. It fused them together. These separated. I tried it with my Elexes. Oops. Tried it with different headphones, and I just couldn't get the same thing that this displayed. There's a separation of the vocalist and the instruments, and I haven't heard that before. And that's what makes these things special, is that they're so detail oriented and so precise in the imaging and soundstage area. What I'm assuming is the tuning I have going on inside of here, that these things get that specialty factor that makes them special to you as a person, as a unique person, is hearing things you haven't heard before. And these do that thing. They just take some getting used to, like I said, with the siblings. Anyway, so if you get these and then you open them up, and if you've opened up 880s before, you notice how you open these up and you're fingering around, you see, there's foam right here. There's foam on top of the driver. There's foam on the backside. There's like mesh over this grill. There's fine plastic mesh over the back of the driver. It's just tuning put into this. You take this Tesla driver, you open this up, there's no foam over the driver. You take the driver out, there's nothing. It's an empty cabinet of the 880s, basically. If you took out all the tuning foam and all the foam and mesh out of that, the 880s, and just took the empty cabinet, which is what Beyerdynamic calls this whole thing, the whole cup, that's what you'd get. So at first I was like, man, there's like no tuning. There's nothing in here. So I tried replicating that what the 880s had, just to try to tame those highs, and I couldn't. But after a few days of tuning with papers and such, I come down to the conclusion that you can do 2 plies and a little donut ring in the back, and that's pretty much almost perfect. If you turn it up high enough, you're gonna get sibilance. If you turn on some song where the lady's just going as high as possible with their voice, super close into the microphone, just like screeching into it, you're gonna get that sibilance, and it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. But these things are crazy. What they're put down for, which is the sibilance, they make up for in detail in soundstage and imaging. These things are a flawed beauty, I'd say. They're beautiful Beyerdynamics. You have that custom mesh in a chrome special edition type of chassis. Awful sibilance until you get her tamed. Then she's just beautiful in her own way. That's about as much as I can say about these. Very detail orientated. They're special. But I am trying to sell them. That's the thing. Because I want to move on from these and not get attached to them. They do details like nothing else, though. You can hear things that you can't hear elsewhere. And they're not really bassy. I mean, there's some bass and there's mids. The vocals are alright. You put these things on tubes and nothing really changes. So you have a hybrid tube amp, and be it at what you will, it being not a real tube amp, it's it's whatever your opinion. You don't really gain much from tubes on these things at all. But that's pretty much it, man. These things are hidden gem. If you have the will to freaking take a couple days just to try to get used to the sibilance of these, maybe tune them a little bit, you could get something really special out of them. Anyway, that's the review of the Beyerdynamic T90s. Hopefully I did pretty well the first video. Thanks for watching. Peace.